Hi, this is Faith, and you are watching The Faith Factor. Holla.
Good morning. Good morning. This is Faith, and you are watching The Faith Factor, and I am your host, Faith. I'm not going to get on camera today, guys. I'm just going to be honest. I'm sitting up here, I'm doing box braids, and I got exactly 3/4, not 3/4, I would say 1/4 of my hair braided, and the other half isn't, and I'm doing it myself, and I haven't done box braids in a minute, y'all. I lost some braiding skills that I used to have back in the day when I was younger. So I'm not gonna do like the heathen do and get on here and be braiding my hair while I'm talking to y'all. I just feel like that's so tacky. So I can just put up my little picture bumper or whatever. I come on here when I'm completely presentable. But how's everybody doing today? How's your day going? I sure hope that everybody got up with a pep in their step. You whatever tensions and whatever stress that you were dealing with yesterday, that you didn't bring that into today. Remember that each day is a new day. So, don't bring in the stresses of yesterday into the new day. Put your best foot forward. Whatever you can control, whatever within your realm of control is all you can do. And you put your best foot forward and make sure that you are not taking in any unnecessary stress, that you are not engaging with toxic people and their toxic energy. Remember, protect your peace at all times. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, so you see the topic. Today's topic is about all of these people that want to come on here and they want to tell you what's wrong in the community. Like I just left a young lady's community panel, and she was posting up about a woman that called the police, because she was having problems with her kids. And this was a single parent, and she had teenagers. And so she was saying that one of the teenagers was out of control and they were just as big as her. And so in trying to get that teenager under control, the teenager is welling on the parent now. So, I'm listening and I'm waiting for the solution, because I just know that we're going to get some great parenting advice on how to deal with a situation like that. And I don't know how many of you are parents, where my parents at, where the parents at in the house, but God forbid you find yourself in that situation. Now, I'm a parent of 4. I had 3 girls, one son, okay, in the same house. And yes, they got into physical altercations when they were teenagers. They're very close together. And those physical altercations can get pretty dangerous when you're trying to get in between and you just one person trying to break up 2 people that's just as big as you. So I'm sitting up here, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to hear a solution to this problem right here. How do you as a parent handle that situation? And you want to know what the person said? Don't be a single mother. I kid you not. That was the solution to that woman's current situation. The message was just don't be a single mother in the first place. And so I'm starting to understand that these people don't come on here to give any solution based advice or make any type of solution based content. These people come on here to push an agenda. And they don't understand the damage that they're actually doing. Exactly, Beach. Wow. Like where is the solution for this woman's particular situation? See, I can't stand when you listening to somebody talking and you a parent and you have experienced that exact situation and you like, you know what, you may have successfully handled your situation, but you're just curious as to how another person that is a parent would have handled the situation. You're just curious. So I'm curious. I'm like, oh, okay. My kids are grown now, but I was a parent. I'm curious to see what this person would do. Well, once again, these people are always non-expert experts, by the way. And when I say non-expert experts, I'm really saying that a lot of these people will run up here on their platforms and they'll present a situation to you, and then all they do is push their agenda, but they have never themselves been in that situation. Like in this situation where I was talking about the woman calling the police because her two teenagers were fighting and they're just as big as her and strong and she can't get them under control. And the solution was just don't be a single mother. Okay, then I find out that the person that brought up the situation don't have kids. Don't that just make you mad? Don't that just piss you the fuck off? When somebody, you sitting up here, you're listening to a situation, you're a parent, and you're like, okay, I know I've been in this situation before. You're really listening for the solution, and this person ain't got no solution. They just pushing an agenda. Or we're just gonna be a single mother. How does that work in this woman's current situation as a parent? Tell me, how does this work? And then to add insult to injury, you find out that the person talking about the situation ain't even got kids. You know, that's where you log the fuck off and just be like, you know what, these motherfuckers is on some bullshit. These motherfuckers is on some bullshit. What's up, Amiri? Amiri Brown in the house. And he has an excellent show as well, by the way. I've been checking you out, Amiri. I love what I've been seeing. I love what I've been seeing. So I thought I'd just come up here because, you know, I didn't get what I wanted to get from that situation that this person introduced. But she played a 911 call, and there was a single mother on the call. And this woman seemed very troubled. She seemed very hysterical. She said her two teenage daughters were fighting. One of them just as big as her and out of control, and she doesn't know how to get the situation together. And you can hear the kid in the background tearing shit up in the house. So now, in this situation, what exactly does this parent do? Now, there are one or two things. There's one or two things that she can do. Now, me personally, I'll tell you what I would do. You know, badass kids don't want to listen. You know, I would probably drag their ass, you know, all over the house. You know, whoop that ass. But that's just me. You know, I understand that a lot of people in the Black community, they forget that they grew up in a household where they got they behind, you know, beat when they was acting up. You know, we got so many Generation Xers and older millennials that pretend and act like they don't understand or know what the belt is. But yeah, that would be my solution. I am definitely a proponent for corporal punishment when it's necessary. And the reason why I say that sometimes corporal punishment is necessary, because it is the most effective tool. And this has been studied. This has been in many, many studies that even amongst all the other forms of discipline, the quickest way that you can stop a child from doing something that may hurt themselves or others is corporal punishment. So, I mean, that's me. That's just myself. But if I want you to stop doing something real fast, I'm putting my foot up your ass. Especially if I know you know better and you about to do something that's going to hurt you or somebody else, my foot is insertive in acid. So, I mean, that would be one solution. That would be one. But she said that one of the children were just as big as her, and she might have been afraid of the children. So, how exactly do you resolve a situation like this without getting the police involved? If you have a child that's out of control, another solution would be that you try to bargain and reason. Now, you know, I'm not a proponent for bargaining and reasoning, but with some children, if you're able to get them under control enough where they can listen, and a lot of kids just want to be heard. In the situation where you got two of them and they're teenagers and they're fighting and roughhousing, you got to get in between. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, mama. I'm sorry, daddy. If y'all scared of y'all kids, y'all shouldn't be having kids. But you're going to have to get in between, separate the children from one another, put one in one room, put the other in another room. And the one that is the most aggressive is the one that you have to get under control first. You have to neutralize the bigger threat first. Now, I ain't gonna lie. When I was a teenager, I was a hothead. My mama used to have to slap me. You know how you slap somebody? And that kind of, you know, shocks the person when they get that slap in the face. So I get that slap in the face, and that would shock me into stopping what I'm doing. And now I gotta listen. Now that works on some kids. Some kids, you will make them attack you. So you have to also know who your children are. Beach says, start with how they got so out of control and admit as a parent where you didn't act promptly. That too, Beach, that too. But sometimes kids just get into these things with each other. You know, if you raising teenagers in the house and you got all these raging hormones and all this other stuff going on, sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with your teaching or none of that. It's just that tempers are flying. And you're going to have to deal with that as a parent. You're going to have to teach conflict resolution to your children. And that starts with how you handle that situation. But you do have to know your children and what you're dealing with each person. You have to know each child's need. Like I said, for me, I needed that slap in the face because you couldn't bargain and reason with me. When I'm mad, I'm mad. So my mom knew me, and she knew exactly what pow, that slap in the face. She had my attention. Now with my brother, that was different. You know, you slap him, he may go off on you. So you have to bargain and reason with him. So first know your children. Separate the children. Deal with the bigger threat first. You have to neutralize the bigger threat first. And, you know, in my experience as being a kid myself, you have to also remember and go back to when you were a kid and how you wanted to be treated. You wanted to be heard. Most children want to be heard. So don't take sides right away. See, a lot of us as parents are guilty of having a favorite and taking sides. You may not be aware of it, but your children are aware. Your children are very aware. So you have to be a self-aware parent and not take sides. Neutralize the bigger threat. Don't take sides right away. You might end up having to take a side, but there's a way that you do that where you don't alienate one child from the other. And you have to listen. As parents, we want to go straight into the discipline without knowing exactly fully what the situation is. How do you know what discipline to dole out until you get both sides of the story? Too many times we as parents, we just got off from work, we tired, we don't even want to deal with it. But you have to lay all that to the side. And you have to get into parenting mode, especially when you have a situation like that. If you don't, you're not going to be able to get those kids under control, and you'll be in a situation like the lady was where you're calling the police because you got one kid that's out of control and they tearing up the whole house. Another thing that you might want to consider, and this is something that I recently had to consider with an adult child, there may be a mental imbalance with one of your children. A lot of times, personality and mood disorders are not diagnosed until a person gets to be an adult because there's something that was missed in childhood. And we as parents, we always brush it off as just being maybe hormones or, they just going through a phase. So it could be if it's something that's reoccurring, especially if the activity is reoccurring. Don't miss out on the opportunity to take your child in to be evaluated. The faster that you can pretty much get that diagnosed, the faster that you can get your child on the track to actually being able to function normally and develop normally. Just like my daughter was diagnosed with autism early on. I knew right away, instantly. Now my oldest daughter, she has a mental disorder I didn't catch until she got to be an adult. And so we're struggling trying to get her and help her find her way today. But she's doing good now. So these are things as a experienced and seasoned parent. These are tips that I can give you because I've experienced these things. But going back to the original thing that I was talking about, as far as these content creators coming on here, presenting these scenarios and then not giving solutions. You have to be real careful what energy you taking in on here. And you have to be smart enough to understand propaganda when you see it. You'll get caught up in somebody else's propaganda. All of a sudden, whatever, how can I say, whatever agenda they're trying to push, you inadvertently end up picking it up. That's the reason why you got all these people that listen to these fools online talking about gender warring, they hate Black women or they hate Black men. And these people will sit up here and get caught up in that propaganda to the point where they go insane. And then now they're out here killing their families, they're shooting up stuff, they're doing all kinds of ignorant stuff. And that's because the content is not solution-based. It's hate-filled. Hate-filled. Now, what I did just now, I presented a situation, but I gave viable solutions that you could use in your everyday life. If you're listening to somebody and they put something out there in the world and the solution seems intangible. See, when this woman said, just don't be a single mother, how the hell is that solution going to help this woman in her current situation? It's the same way when people sit up there and say to a person that's 8 months pregnant and they're getting ready to deliver in less than a month, well, you shouldn't have got pregnant in the first place. I hate all these foregone solutions. You know, hindsight being 2020. We know that the person probably shouldn't have gotten in that situation, but if you don't have any advice to help the person in their current situation, I don't think that you should say anything at all. So now we got a person that's getting ready to be a parent. So now the thing is, we need to coach this person. Okay, are you going to go through with keeping the baby first of all? Because we got to find out what this person intends to do. Are they going to go through with being a parent? Do you want to be a parent? These are the questions you need to be asking, and it has to align with that person's current situation. Going to a person that has a baby or getting ready to have a baby and telling them they shouldn't have had the baby or they shouldn't have gotten knocked up is a foregone solution. It doesn't help the current situation. Now, if you're sitting in a room full of unpregnant teenagers, then that's the time to talk about prevention. And see, I want people to understand that your content, whatever problem that you're throwing out there, if your solution doesn't match the situation, you're just pushing an agenda at this point. And you don't give a damn about people that are in that situation. You're actually basically saying that people that are currently dealing with that situation are throwaways. That's basically what you're saying. And so I'm not going to say the content creator's name, but this person, when this lady was, trying to figure out what to do in her current situation of dealing with two unruly teens, she's sitting up here going on and on and on about where's the daddy? How come these kids don't have no father? See, you wouldn't be going through this if the kid's father was there. And see, once again, these are solutions, or not even solutions. I can't even call it a solution. But saying this to a person that's really in a serious situation, like the one that this lady was describing, saying that to that person doesn't help that current situation at all. So basically what you're doing is you're punching down. This is what I call punching down content, where your content isn't to help anyone. It doesn't change anybody's life. You don't have any type of solution. You are just punching down on the next person. And so what exactly does that help? It doesn't help anything. You don't know if this woman was married and the father is deceased. You don't even know if the father just took up and just didn't want to be there. And so he's made himself physically unavailable, but maybe he pays child support. You don't know what the situation is. But in that current scenario where she's having problems with unruly teens, she needs the advice of an expert, maybe somebody who's currently a parent, who knows something about the situation, that can actually tell her what it is that she needs to do in order to rectify that. This speech is better says, right, because discipline for one doesn't work for the others. Exactly. Exactly. So, I didn't want to come on here and spend too much time because I do have to go. I got half a head braided. But I wanted to come on here and give an example of just the type of non-solution based content that I'm talking about. In this sector, we have the ability to go to our platforms and actually make an impact on people's lives. So many of us have many different areas of specialty that we could actually give real solutions to people. So why not use your platform not to push an agenda, but to actually give actual solutions that people can utilize? What's missing in the Black community more than anything is guidance. Our elders have pretty much failed us. And so we got all these people with social media platforms, and they don't think about the things that we need in this community. We sit up here and we'll complain about a problem and we'll push an agenda, but we will not implement or suggest any solutions. So if you're complaining that there are not enough people or women in the community that know how to cook anymore, and this is your biggest complaint, why don't you start a cooking channel that teaches women how to cook? See, I'm tired of the complaining. The complaining isn't elevating us, it's not getting us anywhere. And I'm sick and tired also of people complaining about Black women and weight. You want to call us fat, you want to play elephant music. It's cool to be entertaining and make fun of a thing. But if you really care about Black women, and if you really care about our health and the weight and all the Lizzos running around here, why don't you have a channel that discusses how she can get her BMI down? Why don't you have a nutrition channel? Tell people what they need to eat in order to get fit and healthy. What type of exercise to condition the body? Tell people that are dealing with hormone issues how they can balance their hormones so they can lose weight. Where's the solution-based content? I hear a lot of complaining. I hear a lot of people saying things for shock value. I hear a lot of things that don't have nothing to do with solutions. You guys just want to bicker, bash, and be entertained. But the community is still suffering. And I just see that we all have these social media platforms that we're absolutely wasting. We're not doing anything with these platforms. So you think Black men are broke, they're underachievers, they don't have jobs. Okay, why don't you start a channel that teaches Black men how to get in position where they can not be an underachiever? What are the solutions? Do you have a daily roster of available jobs or jobs that are in high demand in every city? And are you posting that on your platform? Are you going from place to place and holding summits that teach Black men exactly what they need to do to prepare to get out there in the workforce? Where's the solutions? The community is suffering, And we're punching down on each other daily. Punching down, mad at the world, mad at each other, but no solutions. And I don't know. I believe that was Miss Queen Sunkiss had a really good stream up the other day, and she was talking about breastfeeding. And I think that that's a very important subject as well, because we do have an issue with our children being malnourished. And breastfeeding is the best form of giving your children nourishment. Breast milk. And we don't preach this enough in our communities. We would rather have panels bickering and going back and forth about the indecency factor of breastfeeding. Oh, well, you know, she pulled her breast out and I was uncomfortable. But the baby is eating. And I got my thoughts on that too. I got my thoughts on that too, because I see both sides of the issue there. But you also have to want to receive a solution. And a lot of people, they come in with their minds made up. They're not in a position to want to receive a solution either, because you just want to bicker and gender war. I was just on a panel the other day where a sister was asking the men on the panel a question. And one of the men on the panel said, okay, I can answer your question. And he gave her the answer. But what he said went through one ear and out the other, because she wasn't there to receive a solution. She was there to gender war. She had an agenda when she got up there. So that's the other thing. Not only should we provide solutions, but people, you got to be in a mindset where you're looking to receive a solution. And I had to stop the sister and tell her, like, look, if you had listened to what the brother was saying and actually listened, you would have heard that he gave you an answer. But she wasn't responding based off anything that he said. She was responding to an argument that she came up there that she already had in her head. So she wasn't there to receive any solutions. And see, I know that this stream is not going to be popular because I'm not talking about dick and pussy. I'm not beefing. But I thought somebody should have a level head and broach the subject. Maybe somebody with a larger platform may take it and go a little bit further. But I'm always never afraid to be the first one. We need solutions, people, especially in our community. We don't need any more genders. We don't need any more beefing. We don't need none of the circus clown shows that we've been getting on here. If you want to see change, you have to be the change that you want to see. You can't constantly just only be complaining. There's nothing wrong with complaining. I'm not saying that, you know, is anything wrong with expressing yourself. That's not what I'm saying at all, because it's important to be able to express, you know, what it is that you are upset about. But once you get it out, once we got our 7 to 10 laughs, now it's time to start building. And I think that's what's missing from the content, the portion where we're building. Are we learning anything? Pookie Bear 97 says it's bad when Michi X quits. It is. I saw that too, Pookie Bear. And I commented to the sister in her chat room. I could feel. Now that's the other thing. This Michi X does a lot of powerful work in the community. She does, and I know she's passionate. I know she's passionate about what she does. And when people neglect her and take her for granted and take her kindness for weakness, she comes on here and she's frustrated. And so she's getting that pain and that frustration out. Because I fully understand where that's coming from. All that cussing. She is fully frustrated because she's tired of people treating her like a mule. Now, I listen to what people say. This woman sits up here and she not only gives her time to these programs, but I'm hearing her say that she's also putting in her own money. Now, do you understand what a mind fuck it is when you sit up here and you pay for plane tickets for people to go to a conference because they can't afford to go, or you really, really want that person's participation, and they turn around and they don't even show up? That's money down the drain. So I feel her pain. I absolutely feel her pain. And that's just how passionate she is about what she does, because she's not afraid to put her money behind it. And people take her for granted. They treat her like a mule, as if she just have to do these things. And she doesn't have to do nothing. And so I posted in her chat room and I told that sister, I said, listen, I said, I feel your pain, but you are stressed. And I can hear it in your voice, the stress. I can see it, that weight that she's carrying, that's stress. She can't, I saw that little exercise bike that she got in the back. She's never going to get that weight off because she's stressed. Her hormones are going to be out of balance because she's dealing with toxic people, toxic situations, and it's stressing her the hell out. And I want to tell that sister so bad. I did, post it in her chat. I said, look, you got to get out of that situation where you're dealing with people that are not reciprocating the same energy that you're putting out. And until she realizes that, she's going to keep coming on here stressed out and frustrated because she's giving her energy to the wrong people. And I'm just going to be the first one to say it. Some of these YouTube people are full of shit. And I heard her stream yesterday when she was talking about the people and their egos. They're full of shit. They're grifters. You have to recognize what you're dealing with. And if you're passionate about something, you got to get with like-minded people. Or else these people are always going to be taking, using, and you're going to be stressed and frustrated. That would be the advice that I would give to her. It took me a long time. And see, Michi X, I'm going to say this, but she is Big Mama. When Michi X comes on the scene, and I'm gonna explain what I mean when I say this, and I mean no disrespect to the sister, because I really do hold her in high regard and I respect what she does. But Big Mama is dying out. There really isn't any more Big Mamas. There's a few here and there, and Michi X is a good caricature of Big Mama. She's just Big Mama activist. But Big Mama was always unhappy. She put a smile on her face for the family, for the children, but people took Big Mama for granted. They did. Now, back in the day, Big Mama basically was a housewife. She was there in the home. She was there for her husband. She's there for the kids, the grandbabies. And that was her station in life. She didn't have anything else that gave her any passion except for being a pillar of the community. And people cleaved to her to the point where sometimes they just took her for granted. Her feelings, her health, everything they took for granted. They took from her. And she got very little thanks and very little appreciation for the work that she did in the family and in the community. So Big Mama didn't really keep herself up like she should, because she's always in the kitchen cooking and tasting food, and she want her food to be delicious. So she put a lot of unhealthy, stuff in there, and the unhealthy stuff always tastes better than the healthy stuff, by the way. So Big Mama getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And now her husband don't come and, compliment her on her how she look anymore, because she's starting to let herself go. She's not doing the things that she used to do to keep herself up anymore. And now she's seeing her husband looking at other women that are in shape, younger than her, even women in the family. Big Mama unhappy because she's not being appreciated, not even by her man. So I'm gonna tie this back to Michi X in a minute. So the only thing that Big Mama got that people do appreciate is everybody love Big Mama cooking. Big Mama cook a nice meal every day, or even on special occasions. And everybody come, they talk about how good that cooking is. And it just do her heart so good just to get any compliment. And so she feels as if she got to do and do and do and do just to have some feeling of self-worth about herself. And people just take, and take from her. To the point now it's just, people are just bringing their kids over to Big Mama's house. Oh, Big Mama, can you watch my kids? I got to run out and I got to run a few errands real quick. And Big Mama, where's she going? She big. She don't hardly leave the house. She's always there. She's always available. And people know this. So they drop them badass kids off on Big Mama. And the person that's supposed to be running a few errands and be right back to get their kids don't come back until the next day. That's taking advantage of a person. But you know what? Big Mama sit up here and say, well, where you been? You said you were coming right back. Oh, Big Mama, I this and that happened, and and you come up with an elaborate story to lie to Big Mama as to why your trifling ass didn't come back on time to get them kids. And Big Mama, she ain't really gonna be too hard on you because she needs your validation. So she gonna go, oh well, them kids wasn't no trouble, no way. We just went on ahead, we did this and we did that. And she'll just move on into a conversation about what her and the kids did. And then she gonna gossip about local neighborhood stuff. Then she wanna hear about your day. Because she don't have a life. Big Mama ain't got no life outside of you. And she wants you to still come around. So she's gonna take the abuse and the disrespect. Now, a person can deal with that for so long. A person can deal with people neglecting them, taking them for granted, And it gets to the point where it becomes abusive because Big Mama not getting paid to watch no kids. She ain't getting paid to provide her good cooking to the family and the community. She ain't getting paid for none of this stuff that she does, but she just give it of her own free will because she feel needed and wanted in some capacity because that man she got ain't showing her no love. And that's how I see Michi X. She's a modern day Big Mama activist. Oh, we got something that we planning, Michi. Michi gonna plan, Michi gonna organize, Michi gonna put her own money into it. Michi gonna buy plane tickets for people that can't afford it. And she gets a sense of pride and it makes her feel good. But there's something missing in her life, and that's self-love. She just hasn't learned to be selfish just that one time and think about herself. And that's the reason why the stress is there, the frustration is there, the hormones are out of balance, and the weight is piling on. But if she just one time took time out to tell everybody to kiss her ass, give everybody the middle finger. Now, this is one time when Michi X curse and give people the middle finger, mean that shit. Get rid of all the toxic people in your life, all the people that take you for granted, all the people that use you. And you see how much of that stress melts away. Stress can throw your hormones off balance. Yes, it can. And it could kill you. It could give you high blood pressure. Then you have kidney disease. You start eating. You have insulin resistance because your hormones off on balance because you're dealing with people that's toxic and stressing you out all day long, all the time. So if she would just be selfish and take that energy that she gives to everybody else and give it back to herself, just for a period of time, she would be in a much better place. But at any rate, y'all, I've been on here talking for almost damn near an hour. It's been 49 minutes, and I said that I wasn't going to do this, and I always end up doing it anyway. But I do appreciate everybody that came in. Thank you so much, Pookie Bear 97. And I'm going to read your last comment before I get out of here. Pookie Bear 97 says, our people don't want to come together. The fight ain't there. And I agree with you. But the solution is to provide viable solutions. It's not enough to give a solution because people will give a solution, but it doesn't match the actual situation. Give viable solutions that match the actual situation. And that's how you help each other. And with that, I got to say, I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for coming in and listening. I love you all. Peace. And I am out. Holla.